if the one thing you really disliked doing in your business could disappear? By letting AI handle it. Today, I'm joined by Jeanette Stein with Stein Solutions, a former math teacher turned AI systems expert. She helps entrepreneurs trade overwhelm for efficiency. In this conversation, we talk about how AI can become the teammate you didn't know you had, why trust is the missing piece in adopting new tools, and how focusing on just one irritating task can unlock hours of your time. If you've ever felt your heart racing when it came to AI or FOMO because you feel like you can't keep up, this episode will help calm the nerves, calm the overwhelm, and give you some simple, practical steps to start using AI for systems in your business. I invite you to listen in. Welcome to the Main Street Success Stories podcast. I'm your host, Jennifer Kok. I've been a business owner for about 25 years, and now I'm a business coach. I actually turned my first business into a franchise and successfully sold it after owning and operating it for 20 years. I prioritize building a business while also building a life and love working with the creative entrepreneur. I mostly work with emerging business owners who desire growth. They are in their first 5 years of the journey and want a plan that's going to help them succeed for years to come. They're tired of not getting paid enough, feel stuck, and want more for their business and family. If you are a business owner and you're feeling stressed about how to attract more customers, you have a really good sales month, but then you look at your bank account and wonder where the money went. You look at your financial statements, but if you're being honest, you're not really sure what to do with the information. And you just tell yourself, if I work harder, it'll fix all my issues, only to feel exhausted and never see things improve. You're here because you want to build your business, but you also want to build a life that you love. I invite you to learn more about one of my 3 coaching programs designed to help you earn more and stress less. You can choose which option works best for you. Imagine this. You have a clear plan and momentum, and you're gaining more clients every week. Your revenue climbs by 20% or more. You save 5 hours a week because you know exactly where to show up. You're experiencing double-digit growth in your profits. People refer customers to your business because they understand exactly who you help and what you do. If this is you and you desire more, reach out, let's have a conversation, and you can click in the show notes below. Welcome, Jeanette Stein. I am so excited to have you today.
Thank you so much. It's so good to see you, Jennifer.
So I know you have been in business about 2 years now, and you started a business called Stein Solutions. Give us a little peek about, take us behind the curtain. What is Stein Solutions?
Yeah, I help small business owners use AI to get more of that stuff off their plate that they don't enjoy doing so they can spend the time doing what they got in business to do in the first place.
What a time, right? What a time. I think some of us who've been in business a little longer than others can remember the time when we got Google or when we got Facebook and, when we got these just monumental tools and a huge shift in the way we run and operate business. And you are in it. So what were you doing before you started Stein Solutions? Were you working for somebody else in AI?
No, I was, just to go back just a little bit, I was a math teacher for about 17 years, high school, middle school math, loved it, but had some challenges in the family and I needed not to have it structure. So I started my first business doing algebra lesson plans, learned curriculum, learned marketing, learned business, learned how to sell, and so got recruited by a company that was looking to up-level their product. They realized people were getting into it and getting stuck. They wanted an experienced teacher that also knew marketing. And so got recruited there for about 2 years. But what I realized is we were asking people to do things that they just didn't have the time to get done, whether it was pitching podcasts, creating materials, whatever it was, every client was so overwhelmed. And when this AI came out, some people were more open to it in the beginning and others weren't. And I just wanted to be able to jump in and help. I've always been math-minded, systems-minded. So in my last job, I built a lot with, if you're familiar with things like Zapier or processes, standard procedures, and I was always looking to make them easier for my team to use and make their life easier. Well, when I realized that ChatGPT and Zapier could work together, the whole world opened up. And I'm like, people need to know this. And so I decided it was time to stop asking people to do things they don't have time for and create a way for them to actually find the time to do it. And that's when I started my business two
Oh my
Septembers ago.
gosh.
So,
I needed you
yes.
20 years ago.
Yeah. Right? Like, especially when
Because
you're
you're
first
right.
starting, you have to do everything.
Well,
Like,
and that's one of the biggest complaints of business owners I hear all the time, especially when they're in the first 5 years, 5 to 10 years, because they don't have a big team and they can't afford to outsource to a big
it's right.
team. And frankly, they don't even, sometimes I hear I hear the comment, I don't even have time to outsource because that's how crazy busy
Right.
they are. They're wearing all the hats. So who would have thought, then this is one of the things I love about interviewing entrepreneurs is what you were doing and how you got here. Who would have thought being a
Yep.
math teacher that someday you would have owned your own business and now you are on the forefront of AI? How cool is that?
Yeah, it's really fun. But I can also see how it all lined me up very well for that. I helped integrate technology into our classrooms and just that change management piece. Boy, that
Yeah.
has served me really, really well, helping teams incorporate it, right? So it's been really good.
So, a lot of times when we follow AI experts, which there's a lot of them out there now,
There are.
they normally focus on the sales funnel, the emails, the using it as a marketing tool, helping you with your social media. And really, I love that your approach is more about the systems. How can I help reduce stress? How can I help teams focus more? Because you see that we are overwhelmed in the back end of
Right.
owning and operating our businesses. And so you talk about making sure that it's the right size approach. Will you
It was
take us through what do you mean by that?
Yeah, I think every team has its own personality, has its own um, ability and talents around technology and what they want to integrate. I've I've also seen CEOs come in or owners, however you classify yourself, come in and be so excited they've figured out something in AI and just expect their team to jump to whatever level they're at. And I've seen this backfire in big ways. So when I say have AI meet them where they're at, I feel like there's really these stair steps that we need to look at. We need to know what's possible. We need to play in it. We need to know how to talk to it. Some people call it all these fancy words, whether it's prompt engineering or something else. But really, all you're doing is communicating with the engine, right? And so for me, I use ChatGPT a lot. The first thing I had to do is go, if I tell it this, what happens? If I tell it this, what happens? And you start going, oh, okay. I have this really hard email to write. And for me, this took me out of the emotional and into the logical, and I could get it done, right? So it was a hard email. It was information I didn't want to receive. I needed to set some clear boundaries. Not always easy for us female owners. And I said into ChatGPT, I'm like, this is the email I received. This is what I want to say. This is how I want to be known, and this is how I want them to feel. And it's extremely important to me that the relationship is preserved. This was not a relationship. This was not a situation where I was wanting to end the relationship. And it helped me because I told it how I wanted it to feel and what boundaries I wanted to set. It was able to help me with all of that. And some people, when you start dabbling in it, you don't realize the power of it. But being a math person, logical, sometimes too direct, right? Because that's how my brain works and that's how I tend to communicate. Having this tool helped me soften that out to what I wanted it to be. When I started doing that, I started going, okay, well, can it do this? And can it do that? And I want to help people. I think there's a place to learn how to prompt it before you can systematize it because you have to trust it. You can't systematize something that you don't trust. Otherwise, you spend all your time looking at the bot, wondering if it's actually doing what you want it to do, right? So a good example might be after a client call, you want your notes, you want the next calendar set up, you want an email going out to the client, you need the video put in the right folder, you need your notes put in the right folder, right? Like there's all these things that have to go on after a one-on-one call, with my clients. And so at first it was a prompt to help me write the email, right? Or it was a quick zap to just move my video into a thing. And that's fine. And then I created what's called a custom bot or a custom GPT. And basically I could just put the transcript in and it helped me create some of these things. Okay, now I trust it because I know how to prompt it, right? So you learn how to prompt, then you learn how to create maybe a tool. And now I've created what's called an agent, which I just put in the transcript. I don't even put in the transcript. I tell it and it goes to Zoom and it gets the transcript. And it writes the notes and it puts it in my Google folder. But if I didn't trust that it knew how to do it and I hadn't gone through the steps and I just go to the last step, if I go set that up for you, Jennifer, and you're like, and you don't trust it, you're not going to let it run, right? And I've seen this before where a CEO was like, I want this and I want this and I want this. And then the team didn't implement because they couldn't trust it. So you've got to go through that. Like, how do you talk to it? How do you set up those smaller systems before you set up those, whatever you want to call it, agents, crazy things you see, I think about it on TikTok and they've got 100 bubbles going everywhere. But before you get there, you can't go straight there. You've really got to allow yourself time to learn and trust the system. And I don't think you can skip those steps. I think it has to do that to have a healthy implementation for you and your team.
So we're still humanizing this big beast called AI. It's not just, set it and forget it. We're still humanizing it.
Yeah. And that's where the teacher in me comes in. I'm like, yeah, I can get the AI to do a lot of stuff. But if you as the human don't feel empowered along that process, you're not going to want to use it. And it's probably not going to work for you. So
wow. So that's pretty cool. And is that where the ChatGPT and Zapier are coming in together? Is it the Zapier that's putting all this information in certain places?
Used to be.
And now that's changed because we can't keep up with it?
Actually, it's gotten much, much easier, Jennifer. So if you've been waiting, this is perfect. ChatGPT, if you have the $20 a month and that's all it costs.
Yeah.
And you can write a list of instructions of what you want. You can put that list of instructions into ChatGPT and you go down and you hit that plus sign and there's a thing that says agents there. And you click on agents and a little computer screen. It's like a little assistant working on a computer where you can see it right on that desk over there, right? And they might, and think about that assistant would go, hey, can you log me into your Gmail? Hey, can you log me into your Zoom account? And you do, and it'll stop and it'll ask you to do those things. And if you do those things, it takes care of the rest.
And so you're right, the trust factor, because my skin just kind of went like, oh my gosh, like now they have access to my Gmail, whoever it is.
Right? It's at what level you have to be, and that's...
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say, I'm just going to take a side note if you don't mind. The security, when using things like these ChatGPT agents, I want everybody to know the biggest scare so far, right? And things change on a dime in AI. And I was on vacation last week, so I will do my research. But the biggest thing is not that the agent's going to go rogue and put your password somewhere. It actually stops recording anytime you take over to put in a password. Like it's not recording. It doesn't save your passwords. And it even logs you out at the end of the session, right? Automatically.
Okay.
The biggest fear, though, is that fake websites are going to go up and you as the human, when you go to log in, are going to log into the wrong website. That's the fear. That's right. Because even last Christmas, I was buying tea tree, right? Isn't that the soft scrub? Whatever. My daughter loves it. And I actually, as much as I'm online and I think I'm pretty darn savvy, I put my credit card into a fake account that was made to look exactly like that one, right? Like their website. And so if it can trick me as here I am running up a week before Christmas, cancel all my cards. Not awesome, but if a human's going to make that mistake, just be aware that if you're going to sites that you're not using all the time, that's where the danger is. So for it to go to my Zoom, it's my Zoom. Mm-hmm. I know it's my Zoom. That's great. If it's going to my Gmail, I know it's my Gmail. But if you're asking it to book your flights for you, just do your due diligence, right? If it's find my niece a purple sparkly unicorn that's less than $40 for whatever, right? Be careful of those websites, right? Because people are figuring out how to scam. Sorry,
Okay.
I'm
Well,
talking
yeah,
too long on this,
that's
but I
always
just
been the
want
case, right?
right, and it's always been the case, and now they're taking advantage of that.
Mm,
The agents are going to find them and use them. So
okay.
that's
Okay.
more the danger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So give me some practical examples for
Sure.
small business owners that maybe are on the smaller scale. They don't have a huge team, they're solo entrepreneurs, but they have a few people working for them.
Hmm.
And, they're in the back end of their business, maybe recording videos that are going to go on social and go on YouTube. They are, creating different social media posts or even like this podcast. Like I take this podcast
Hmm.
and I take the transcript and I put it into ChatGPT and I ask it for social media and I ask it for, titles. Are there some steps that I could be eliminating? Because I feel like it's a lot of copy and paste. So
Hmm.
you are more focused on those systems. Like, give us a couple of examples of how we could be better using
Yeah.
AI in the back end of our small business.
Yeah, you're set up really well because you've been doing it, so you know what prompts actually work. So in the $20 ChatGPT plan, there's these things called custom GPTs where you can write it out like step one. If I put in the transcript, you probably want a YouTube description. And you can even put in an example of what you want it to look like. So they're all branded with you with the right links. You're not copying and pasting links in.
Mm.
You can say, I want social media for this, for this, for this. And here's some examples. And you just attach those in there. This is called a custom GPT. Now, every time you're done with the thing, you put in only the transcript and it walks you through those steps. So you're not copying and pasting all the prompts. You do it once and then it walks you through it all.
Okay, so you save it as a custom GPT. That would be like my
Yes,
podcast, and I can use that every time.
that's right. And
Okay.
now you've hopefully saved probably an hour. Like I have one gentleman that I worked with. Helped him set up his custom GPT. He was able to get all his assets and everything done, including the email, blast and everything in 20 minutes, where it used to take him
Wow.
about 2 hours.
All right. So custom GPTs. A lot of times I see people use those as freebies. They
Yes.
create a custom GPT prompt for a particular thing, and then they put it out there for people to use as freebies. Is that available to everybody, or did they have to pay for that?
To create a custom GPT, you have to have it for $20. To
Okay.
use it, you can do it from a free account. You do have to log into a free account to use it. You can't use it. ChatGPT doesn't require you to log in. You can use it anonymously.
Okay.
It won't remember you, but it's there. But
Okay.
if you want to use one of the custom GPTs, you do have to have at least a free account.
Okay. All right. Let
Yeah.
me ask you this. What about keeping your data organized? So let's say right now I use Google Drive and I've
Hmm.
got all these images and all these things in there. And, I search, but I don't know. I feel like I just spend so much time. And I have a virtual assistant. And a lot of times I want her to like do something or, pick up on something. How can you use ChatGPT to kind of maybe work with your team as far as project management, I guess would be the right term, where to make sure that we're both on the same page and each person knows what needs to get done?
Yeah. I mean, that's a great question. For me and my team, we use Asana and we use ChatGPT as that in between. So anytime a meeting gets done, I just in the last 2 weeks, but it saves me hours now. Every meeting goes through my agent that pulls out any to-do items for me or my team, and they automatically get placed and written in Asana. And then my agent will actually pull the details from the transcript and put them in there so we don't have to go re-listen to it or, just to help your brain transition
Right.
faster. It'll put in any links that we need and make sure it's all there. That is fantastic. As far as cleaning up your Google Drive, I think it's coming really soon. I have found with the new agents, if I ask it, hey, go put this in this folder, it does it 100% of the time. If I say, hey, I met with Jennifer this morning, go put it in my client folder for Jennifer, it doesn't miss, right? Like it's there when I need it, which is really important. As far as it going in and finding, like all those unlist or unnamed docs that you start and never even need and deleting them, can it pull them all and put them in a folder? I've tried that and that worked. So I'm like, go find anything that I didn't name, put that in the unnamed folder, right? At least,
Okay.
right? Now, can it go through and like put in a naming convention? I just haven't tested it yet, but I bet it will be here in the next month or two. Because even the agents are already running in probably half the time they were a week ago. When I left for vacation, I came back, it was drastically faster.
Okay, so
So,
that's, I think, what is overwhelming for us that are
mhm,
not AI experts, but we're just trying to use it because we keep hearing how cool it is and we want to save time and make our lives easier, is keeping up with all the changes. It's funny how it used to be social media algorithms. We used to stress about how do we keep up with that? So, what's your advice for us mainstream small business owners out here in the trenches, just doing
yes,
our thing, to not feel overwhelmed by it? Because
that's right.
sometimes I get this like almost like my heart starts to race and I feel like, oh, I got some FOMO. Like, what am I missing out on? What else should I be doing? I'm sure I'm barely dipping my toe into how robust this tool is.
That's every single person out there, me included, all the gurus included. We all have our things that we dip into. So I would tell everybody here, first of all, you're not behind. We're all behind. Software used to like double in capabilities every 2 to 3 years. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So like what Excel, if I'm going to age myself, but if you remember the like jumping little paperclip in the corner, it took probably 5 years for that to get where it had spell check, where it had grammar check, right? Like there were huge gaps in time for these upgrades. The AI is doubling in capability I've fact checked this and I'm seeing different research, 3 to 5 months. So every
Wow.
3 to 5 months, it's doubling in capability. What I would tell you is that's really overwhelming. Absolutely. It overwhelms me. I see people doing stuff. I'm like, I'm the AI expert. I should know that. And I have to kind of talk myself off the ledge. I'm just being really
Yeah.
honest, right? Because you see all these people, and there is that being a business owner where you feel like, oh, they're doing it better.
Right. Sure.
Focus on one thing. If you're spending hours and hours and hours looking for stuff in your Google Drive, start there and only learn the AI that does that. If you're like me and you're like, I know I'm too direct, I hate my writing, learn how to talk to it so you can pull out what you want. But I wouldn't do both at the same time. Even me, like it's too much. It's going too fast. So pick that one thing you hate doing. If it's social media, play with it and learn how to write your captions or create your social media. If it's, but only one thing. I will challenge you for the next 30 to 60 days, only focus on one thing with AI and give yourself, and you're like, but all these things are happening and all these things are coming. If you only focus on one objective, right? For me, it was writing the email, getting it to sound like me, getting it to be empathetic, not so matter of fact like I tend to write and probably talk right now. But that's just, I understand that's part of my personality, but in written form, it's so hard because you can't see my eyes. You don't see my heart. You don't
Right.
hear the influx. So for me, that was most important. That was my weak spot. That's what I hated doing. And that's where I learned and leaned in. And I only did that. But I did that with the prompting. Then I said, okay, how can I get this into Zapier so I can automate one thing? And how can I prompt that? And then how can I use it? And then it slowly branched out, right? And
Right.
then it was, yes. And that's okay. But if you focus on one thing, the other things become easier. If you focus on all the things, none of the things come easier.
That's great advice because I think you're right. We try to think, oh, I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that. But, I love this focus on what's the one thing you're spending the most time on and how can this tool help you, in that back end save some time. But you're right.
Yeah.
You have to trust it. I loved how you said that. You have to
Mhm.
trust it and you have to continue to tweak it, I guess, until you're getting the output that you're looking for.
Yeah. And just, yeah. And I would encourage you if you're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, you are seeing all these ways that people are doing things. And I know when I first started my business, one of the best pieces of advice I got is you may not subscribe to more than 3 newsletters at a time. Have you heard this before? You probably have, right? Because it used to be really because back then, instead of social media, when I first started, it was the email overload. You'd hear
Mm-hmm.
this tip and this tip and this tip and this tip. Still true. Still true. I would follow maybe 2, maybe 3 AI people, block out anything everybody else says. It's just too much. And then you do nothing. You get paralysis, right?
Right.
I do, at least.
Yeah,
Even
no, we do as humans. We get, decision paralysis,
Mhm.
and I always
Yeah.
say the non-decision becomes the decision. and
Exactly. Like,
and you just stay stuck.
you just
So,
start avoiding it because you feel so
right.
like it's just piling on. And
Yeah, well,
next thing you
and
know, you
there's a
can't
little
even get
bit
your
of
head above
that,
water.
oh, I'm too late to the game, so I'm just going to skip it. We don't want that either because, like you said, it's going to move faster than any of us. And all of us are behind. So take us through who is like an ideal client for you and give us kind of an example of how you work with people. So you come into their business and what are some things that you're looking for?
Yeah. So the people that I work with are usually people stuck in that middle where they're making money, but they can't grow because they're in that messy middle. They've
Mm-hmm.
grown to a point where they know they need to hire, but how do you even, like, this is where you're really the expert with this. I'm the one that helps ease that busyness, and so they can spend more time with those new team members, so that they can spend more time with their clients. So I come in and I usually will sit down with an owner for a full day, watching what they do, asking them lots of questions. What does their processes look like? And then we start looking at the most irritating thing for them to do, if I can be blunt, right?
Yeah.
Where do I see their body language go, oh,
Right. Sign me up. I'm all about take away this irritating thing.
and then I always look for, ooh, where are those places where AI could come in and they could learn this much and get this ROI, right? Where's
Okay.
that one small thing they could learn that could just be like, boom. And so I really learn a ton about their business. And then I work with them for 12 weeks to really help implement those things and make sure I'm not just piling on more, but I slowly drip out as they're ready to learn the next thing, right? So we
Okay.
might learn the prompting, we might learn wherever they're at. Some people are really ready to automate. They've been playing pretty well with it. And some people are like, I just want to get started. I just don't even know what I don't know. And that's okay too. Right. But then for 12 weeks, we work together and then we discuss if you want to keep going. But I just asked for 12 weeks to really get that ROI. I want your ROI. My big goal is time, then revenue, right? You got to get
Okay.
the time so you can work on that revenue.
Right. Well, employer or entrepreneur's time is revenue.
It is. Yes.
So Jeanette, this is really interesting, and I love that your AI approach is more system oriented and more, kind of becoming another employee, if you will, in our wheelhouse and a tool that can help businesses, not be so distracted and really, like you say, feel buried under the daily tasks. So,
Mhm.
how can people find out more about you? You have a free Facebook group.
I do have a free Facebook group called AI Efficiency, and I've shared the link, so they should be in the show notes. I would love for you to join that free Facebook group. Just get involved. I'm back from vacation, so it'll be hopping here real soon. And as well as you can always find me. I'm mostly on Facebook, LinkedIn as well, and I'm starting a YouTube channel, so I'd love your support there as well. So I
Awesome.
really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for sharing your wisdom and just kind of scratching the surface a little bit more for us. And I think what's impactful is the one thing, just to think about what's the one irritating thing in your business, because we all have it. We all have
Mhm.
our skill set that we shine on, and we all have our areas of the business that we just don't enjoy as much. And what I'm hearing from you is AI could maybe help us with some of those areas we don't enjoy as much.
I would love to see that for everyone listening. Take that one thing and go, how can you help me do this easier? If you don't know where to start, I'll leave you with one little prompt. I go, I don't like doing this. Ask me questions one at a time until you can help me with it. All right.
Oh,
Ask me questions one at a time because the last thing you want is an AI overwhelming you with 20 questions. Ask me a question one at a time until you have enough information to make a recommendation, right? Of how AI can help, how ChatGPT can help, whatever tool, if you use Gemini, Copilot, Claude, it doesn't matter, but have it kind of give you that little mini assessment.
okay. That I'm going to try that right away because I have put in something like, give me a 12-week business plan. And it spits out so much that you tend to shut down. So I like this one question at a time. Scary.
Mhm.
I'm having a conversation with a robot.
It is, I know, and yeah, it is. I get it. But it's so helpful once you kind of lean in just a little bit. The other one that I would give you, I am a very small business owner and I don't have time for complex strategies,
Okay.
right? And then ask me questions one at a time. Telling it you're busy and you don't have time for complex will make it much more doable for the small business owner. Sometimes I'm like, I'm not Google. Like,
Right.
stop.
Right. And it's
Yeah.
funny because I've heard people say that, fifth grade level, that
Yeah.
our ability now when we are reading other people's marketing and seeing other people's, information out there is to give it to us at fifth grade level because a lot of us aren't reading deep anymore. We are skimming, scrolling, and,
Listen,
that's a little scary what's happening to our brains. But I've heard that too. Ask ChatGPT to give it to me at fifth grade level.
absolutely. It works really well.
Well, very
Yeah.
interesting. Well, thank you for shedding
Thank
a little
you.
bit more light on this robust tool that we all have at our fingertips. And I
Yeah.
will definitely put in the show notes your Facebook group, and I'm going to go hop over there and join that myself, and
Great.
all the links to get a hold of you. And once again, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. It was my pleasure.
Fear is one of the biggest things that keeps us stuck, whether it's fear of change, fear of AI, fear of technology, fear of making the wrong move. But as Jeanette talked about today, it doesn't have to be complicated. Start by tackling just one irritating thing in your business, that task that just drains you, and let AI or systems take it off your plate. Because every breakthrough comes on the other side of fear. If you're ready to stop spinning your wheels and want a proven path to grow your business with more confidence and less stress, that's exactly what we do inside my Earn More, Stress Less Business Accelerator. You don't have to figure it out. I have a 9-pillar proven framework to help you scale your business and help you become more profitable. Check out the show notes to learn more, and let's turn fear into your next building block. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thanks for listening. And would you do me a favor and leave me a 5-star review? I would love for more business owners to hear Main Street success stories. Until next time.